The receipt looked ordinary at first, creased, slightly smudged from a coffee cup. But when Ethan turned it over, the words written in hurried pen stopped him cold, "Meet me before I die." He froze, staring at the note as the laughter of people in the busy Toronto cafe carried on around him. Who would leave something like this? Was it a joke, or was someone out there crying for help? Ethan had only stopped in for a quick cappuccino before heading to work. He remembered the girl who had served him, thin frame, tired eyes hidden behind her smile, and a softness in her voice that lingered longer than it should have. She looked young, maybe in her 20s, but there had been something behind her expression, something heavy. Now, holding that receipt, he couldn't just ignore it. He felt his heart tighten. He sat there for a moment, debating. Part of him wanted to toss it aside, tell himself it wasn't his business. But another part, the louder one, reminded him that maybe he was the only person who had noticed. What if she meant it? What if this was her last attempt to be seen? Ethan got up and asked the manager about her. "The girl who served me, where is she?" The manager shrugged. "That's Claire. She just finished her shift. You might catch her outside." Without another thought, Ethan ran out into the cool Canadian morning air, receipt still clutched in his hand. He spotted her a block away, walking fast, her shoulders hunched under a faded coat. "Claire," he called. She turned, startled, then saw the paper in his hand. Her eyes widened, and for a moment she looked ready to run. But something in his face, his urgency, maybe his sincerity, made her stop. "Why did you write this?" he asked, slightly out of breath, holding the receipt up. Her lips trembled as she tried to answer. Finally, her voice broke. "Because I didn't think anyone would care enough to ask." Ethan felt the weight of those words sink deep. They stood there on the sidewalk, the city rushing around them, as she confessed. She was sick, an illness she had been quietly battling for months. The treatments weren't working, her family was far away, and most of her friends had drifted off when life got complicated. Every day she smiled at strangers in the cafe, wondering if anyone would ever truly see her. So she started writing messages on random receipts, hoping, just hoping, that someone would notice before it was too late. "I don't want to die alone," she whispered, her eyes filling with tears. "I just wanted someone to meet me, someone who'd remember I was here." Ethan swallowed hard. He hadn't expected his morning coffee to turn into this, but looking at her, he knew walking away wasn't an option. "You don't have to do this alone," he said softly. "Not anymore. I'll be here." From that day on, Ethan kept his promise. He visited Claire during her treatments, brought her books, and sometimes just sat quietly beside her when the pain was too much. They shared stories about childhood dreams, regrets, and the strange ways life can bring two strangers together. Slowly, Claire's world brightened again, not because her illness disappeared, but because she was no longer invisible. One snowy evening, months later, Claire smiled at Ethan from her hospital bed. "You know," she whispered, "you were supposed to be just another customer. But you became the reason I remembered what hope feels like." Ethan held her hand tightly, realizing the truth in her words. Sometimes, the smallest choices, the decision to notice, to care, to act, can change everything. And though Claire's future was uncertain, one thing was clear: she would never again be just a girl behind a counter, unseen and unheard. She had been met, loved, and remembered. For anyone listening, her story carried a message: never ignore the quiet cries for help around you. Because sometimes, even a stranger can be the reason someone chooses hope over despair. Do you want me to make this story even more stretched, like 1,500 plus words, for a stronger emotional build-up for your YouTube video, or keep it around this 4-minute length?